Several weeks ago, I came across a very short note in the Nature journal, which is a famous interdisciplinary scientific journal. The title of the note was "Blue Whales Bounce Back." And as I read the very first sentence of this note, I immediately decided I had to tell you about it. I wasn't drinking beer, but the sentence was very impressive. It said, a population of blue whales has reached prevailing levels and is no longer endangered. Those are very good news, especially these days, when we receive very sad messages about our planet ecology, about melting ice, about disappearing fish stocks, about dying coral reefs. I did a very small Google search for just 5 days in September when this note was published. And it brought me back over 6,000 results with National Geographic, BBC News, and Washington Post on the top of the list. Apparently, I wasn't the only one excited about that news. But as I said, this note was very short, and it was a research highlight of a huge study which was performed at the University of Washington in Seattle and published in the Marine Mammal Science journal. It's actually just about to be published, but it's already available online. The title of that paper, the original paper, is "Do Ship Strikes Threaten the Recovery of Endangered Eastern North Pacific Blue Whales?" It seemed like the journalist took this and transformed it into "Blue Whales Bounce Back." Wasn't it too good to be true? Fellow Toastmasters, I suggest that today we review this paper together and decide for ourselves if the journalist stated the message correctly, or if they overstated or maybe even misstated it. In my presentation, I will follow a usual structure of a technical paper, but I will change the proportion of its parts. We will look into the problem into many details, because it's very important to understand what exactly has been done by scientists. We will treat data and methods as black box. We will not open it. We will just skim it for one small thing. What were the assumptions and limitations of this study? Because this is very important to interpret the results. We will distill the results of this paper into just several numbers, and then discuss these numbers in relation to the original problem. And in conclusion, I will ask you to tell me if the blue whales have bounced back yet. So we are starting with the problem. If ship strikes threaten the recovery of blue whales in the eastern North Pacific, we will start with a very important term, which is a population. By population, we mean a group of animals of the same species which occupy the same area at the same time. There are 4 important characteristics of any animal population. First, the species itself, and today we will be talking about blue whales. Second, its geographical area, so we can be speaking about worldwide population of blue whales or North Pacific population of blue whale. And as we will see, there are subpopulations which we are interested in. We will be also talking about the third characteristic, which is time. So we will be talking a bit about past, present, and future of these populations. And the fourth thing, which is very important for an animal population is a number, a total number of all individuals which belong to a particular population. Now we are ready to parse the problem into 4 parts. First, we will be talking about prevailing population of blue whales, its fate, and how happened that they become endangered. We will then discuss the population structure. What is it specific about eastern North Pacific blue whale, which allowed the scientists to separate them from others? Then we will look at the population dynamics. What is happening to blue whales these days? Is the population growing? Is it shrinking? Or maybe it's maintaining its status quo. And when we figure it out, we will try to decide, are there any dangers remaining to blue whales which could prevent them from recovering? So now I want to take you back in time, before the blue whales started to be whaled. And we don't have to go too far, just over 100 years. The reason is that blue whales are too big, too swift, too powerful, that it used to be impossible for people to hunt them. Besides, there is one more thing not to overlook. When a blue whale is killed, his body will not float on the surface as happened to many other smaller whales. It will sink. So killing blue whales until some point in our development of evolution didn't make much sense, even if we were able to do it. But unfortunately, the humankind is too goal-oriented. And just about when other whales were hunted down to almost an extinction, a tool came in hand, a harpoon gun, and when combined with new boats and a new technique which allowed it to inflate the whale body after the whale is killed, the new fast began. And it happened only in 20th century. And the number of blue whales killed started rising very quickly. From 1905 to 1930, where it peaked. And in 1931, 29,000 blue whales were killed in just one season. Then, this number started declining, but not because we became more merciful. The blue whale stock becomes so sparse that it wasn't to our benefit to hunt them anymore. Still, in 1966, an International Whale Committee banned the blue whale hunting, killing. Unfortunately, in early 97s, as it turns out now, as we figure it out now, the Soviet Union kept killing blue whales for several more years. And by the end of this period, just for 70 years, we managed to kill 99% of the worldwide population of blue whales, who at some point had 150,000 individuals in them. And that's what we called endangered population. Let us now look at the population structure. Blue whales live in all world ocean, in Indian Ocean, Atlantic, and Pacific, and Southern Ocean. But it turns out that in the Pacific Ocean we have two distinct blue whale subpopulations. While some people actually call them separate population. They are distinct by the way they vocalize. They're different a bit in size, about 1 meter difference. And they also have different migration patterns. So there is only one small place near Alaska where they sometimes overlap during winter. Let us listen to Western Pacific blue whale. And this is Northeastern Pacific blue whale. And these are trajectories for migration of whales along the western coast of the United States, up to Alaska, then down to Gulf of California, and even down to Costa Rica. And we're actually running out of time. But I want to show you very important numbers. Just let me mention that these days, when we don't kill blue whales anymore, we don't hunt them anymore, the only source of violent mortality of blue whales are strikes by ships. There are not too many numbers of these strikes, but we don't actually know how many of them they are, because as I mentioned, blue whales sink after they are done. And here are the final numbers which the author of the paper received. The North Pacific, Eastern North Pacific Ocean can carry right now, and this number is limited by biological resources of the region, about 2,000 blue whales from 1,800 to 3,700. And we are currently at about upper limit of this carrying capacity, 2,200 blue whales, which means that the population has recovered and it will never grow further because there is not enough resources for it. You will answer me this question after the meeting, because I want to finish my speech by this quote. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.